I am standing in front of a stranger's house on a chilly autumn afternoon, holding a yellowed envelope in my trembling hand. The weight of 17 years presses down on my chest like a stone. I lied about my best friend. That lie destroyed everything he had: his future, his family, his faith in people. And today, after all these years, I finally know the whole truth. I see a shadow move behind the front window. My heart stops. This is it. The moment I have to face what I did, before I tell you how one lie 17 years ago destroyed everything. I want to know where you are watching from. Drop your location in the comments below. If you have ever made a mistake that haunted you for years, hit that like button. And subscribe, because this story gets darker before it gets better. Let me take you back to where it all started. Spring of 2006, senior year of high school. Marcus and I became best friends in grade 7. We were inseparable. Every day after school, we would shoot hoops at the outdoor court near his house until the streetlights came on. Every Friday night, we would pool our allowance money and order a large pepperoni pizza from Domino's, sitting on his front porch and talking about everything. Girls we liked, teachers we hated, dreams we had for the future. Marcus was the only son in a family with 3 sisters. His parents worked double shifts to make ends meet. His dad was a warehouse supervisor. His mom cleaned offices at night. They did not have much, but they had love. My family was more comfortable. My dad was an accountant at a mid-sized firm. My mom worked as a registered nurse at the local hospital. We lived in a nicer neighborhood, had 2 cars instead of 1, took vacations every summer. But none of that mattered to Marcus and me. He would borrow my clothes for parties without asking, and I never cared. I would eat dinner at his house twice a week, and his mom would always make extra. We had this thing we always said to each other: brothers before everything else. We meant it. Senior year came fast. Both of us applied to the University of Michigan. It was our dream. We talked about sharing a dorm room, joining the same clubs, maybe even pledging the same fraternity. Marcus had good grades and a solid SAT score, 1380 out of 1600. Not perfect, but respectable. I scored 1520, higher than him, but I never made him feel bad about it. Marcus was waiting on results for a full scholarship because his family could not afford the tuition. I had already been accepted with a partial scholarship. My parents could cover the rest. We both worked part-time at Best Buy to have spending money. We stocked shelves, helped customers find laptops and phones, closed the store on weekends. It was not glamorous, but we made it fun. There was a small vault in the back office where the store kept cash from weekend sales. Only the manager and assistant manager had keys to it. We never thought much about it. Then late March happened. A Saturday night. Marcus and I were closing together. It was just the 2 of us and the assistant manager, a guy named Kyle Morrison. Kyle left around 9:30 p.m., told us to finish up and lock the front doors. We did our usual routine. I counted electronics inventory. Marcus swept the sales floor and took out the trash. We left around 10:15 p.m., locked up, and went home. Sunday morning, the manager called both of us in a panic. $2,300 was missing from the vault. The security camera showed that only Marcus and I were in the store after Kyle left. The manager was furious. He pulled us into his office, separately asked us 100 questions. Did you see anything? Did you go near the back office? Did you notice anything strange? I told him I did not take the money. Marcus said the same thing. But there was something I could not shake from my mind. I remembered seeing Marcus walk into the back office alone for about 5 minutes while I was counting inventory in the electronics section. I did not think much of it at the time. Maybe he was using the bathroom back there. Maybe he was checking his work schedule. I did not know. But now, with money missing and the manager asking questions, that memory kept playing in my head like a broken record. The manager sent us home and said he would review the cameras more carefully. For 3 days, I could not eat, could not sleep. I kept replaying that image of Marcus going into the back office. I did not want to believe my best friend would steal. But doubt crept in like poison. 3 days later, the manager called me back to the store. Just me, not Marcus. He sat me down in his office and closed the door. He looked tired, stressed. He said, "Dennis, I know it was not you. You have a bright future ahead. But I need to know the truth. If we do not figure this out, I have to call the police, and that will affect both of your college applications." My stomach dropped. College, Michigan, my scholarship, everything I had worked for. The manager kept talking. "I saw on the cameras that Marcus went into the back office. Did you see him take anything?" I should have said no. I should have told the truth. But fear took over. Fear of losing everything. Fear of being blamed. Fear that maybe, just maybe, Marcus really did take that money. The manager leaned forward. "Dennis, if you saw something, you need to tell me now. This is serious." And in that moment of weakness, of pure, selfish terror, I nodded. I said, "I saw Marcus go into the office. When he came out, he had something in his jacket pocket. I could not see what it was, but it looked like he was hiding something." It was a lie. A complete lie. I did not see Marcus holding anything, but I said it anyway. And those words changed everything. The manager called the police that same day. Marcus was brought to the station with his parents. I can still picture the look on his face when the officer told him what I had said. Betrayal, confusion, pain. Marcus denied everything. He cried. He begged them to believe him. But there was no evidence to prove his innocence. My testimony, the word of his best friend, became the key piece of evidence against him. They let me sit in on part of the questioning because I was the witness. Marcus looked at me across that cold interrogation room and asked, Why are you doing this to me?" His voice cracked. Tears streamed down his face. I could not look at him. I just repeated what I had said. "I am sorry, but I saw what I saw." The lie felt like acid in my mouth, but I could not take it back. I was too scared. Marcus's family hired a lawyer, but they could not afford a good one. The public defender did what he could, but it was not enough. Because Marcus was under 18, he was charged with petty theft. He was given probation for 2 years. But the worst part, the part that destroyed him, was what came next. The University of Michigan revoked his acceptance and his scholarship offer. They cited his criminal record as the reason. I watched Marcus's world collapse. His parents were devastated. His mom cried for days. She had to take time off work because the stress made her physically sick. His dad stopped talking at family dinners, just stared at his plate with empty eyes. Marcus became a ghost. He stopped returning calls, stopped showing up at places we used to hang out. He cut off everyone from high school. I went to Michigan that fall like I had planned. I moved into the dorms, joined clubs, made new friends. But I could not enjoy any of it. Every time I walked across campus, I thought about Marcus. Every time I went to a party, I remembered the parties we used to talk about going to together. I tried texting him a few times, apologizing, asking how he was. He never responded. Not once. At Christmas break, I came home and heard through mutual friends that Marcus had enrolled in the local community college. He was taking general classes, living at home, working nights at a gas station to help his family pay bills. I drove past his house twice but could not bring myself to knock on the door. What would I even say? Sophomore year of college, I heard Marcus had dropped out of community college. He got a job at an auto manufacturing plant on the assembly line. 10-hour shifts. Minimum wage. I tried not to think about it. Tried to focus on my classes, my internships, my future. But the guilt never left. It sat in my chest, like a tumor growing slowly, quietly, poisoning everything. I graduated from Michigan with a degree in finance. Got a job at a consulting firm in Chicago. The pay was good. $70,000 starting salary. I moved to the city, rented an apartment, started dating. At 29, I married a woman named Sarah. She was kind, smart, patient. We had 2 kids, a boy named Jacob and a girl named Emma. We bought a house in the suburbs with a big backyard and a 2-car garage. From the outside, my life looked perfect. But inside, I was drowning. I could not go back to my hometown without feeling sick. I avoided high school reunions, made excuses every time. Too busy with work, kids have activities, car trouble, anything to avoid running into people who might mention Marcus. Sarah asked me once why I never wanted to visit my parents for more than a day or two. I told her I just preferred city life. She believed me. I never told her about Marcus. Never told her about the lie. I buried it deep and tried to pretend it never happened. At night, when Sarah and the kids were asleep, I would lie awake and wonder about Marcus. Where was he? Was he okay? Did he ever think about me? I searched for him online. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Nothing. It was like he had disappeared from the earth. Part of me was relieved. If I could not find him, I did not have to face what I had done. 17 years passed like that. 17 years of pretending, of lying to myself, of building a life on top of a foundation of guilt. My salary went up to $90,000. We took family vacations to Florida and California. Jacob played Little League. Emma took piano lessons. Everything was fine. Everything was normal. Until late September. A Thursday afternoon. I came home from work and found a yellow envelope in the mailbox. No return address. Just my name and address written in shaky handwriting. The postmark was from my hometown. My hands started shaking before I even opened it. Inside was a letter. Handwritten. 2 pages. The signature at the bottom said Kyle Morrison, the assistant manager from Best Buy. The man I had not thought about in years. I sat down on the front steps and read. Dennis, you do not know me anymore, but I need to tell you something before I die. I have terminal cancer. Stage 4. The doctors say I have maybe 2 months left. I am writing this because I cannot take this secret to my grave. That money that went missing in 2006, I took it. All of it. I had gambling debts. Bad ones. I owed people who do not forgive. I stole that money to pay them off. I knew the cameras would show you and Marcus in the store, so I set it up to look like one of you did it. When the manager questioned you, I was relieved when you blamed Marcus. I know you lied. I know you did not really see him take anything. I used your fear and your self-preservation to destroy an innocent kid's life. I am sorry. I am so sorry. I am dying now, and I needed you to know the truth. What you do with this information is up to you. But Marcus was innocent. He always was. I read the letter 3 times, 4 times, 5. My vision blurred. My hands would not stop shaking. For 17 years, I had convinced myself that maybe Marcus really had taken that money, and I had just helped confirm it. But now I knew the truth. Marcus was completely innocent, and I had destroyed his life. Not Kyle. Me. Kyle gave me a way out, but I was the one who lied. I was the one who chose to save myself at Marcus's expense. I sat in the garage for 3 hours that night just holding that letter. Sarah knocked on the door twice asking if I was okay. I told her I needed time alone. When I finally came inside, I could not speak, could not eat. I went upstairs, locked myself in the bathroom, and cried harder than I had cried since I was a child. The kind of crying where you cannot breathe, where your whole body shakes. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I told Sarah I had the flu. She believed me. I spent the entire day searching for Marcus online. This time I was not casual about it. I called old friends from high school. I reached out to people I had not spoken to in a decade. Finally, someone gave me information. Marcus was living in a small town about 90 miles away. He worked as a mechanic at a local garage called Eddie's Auto Repair. I did not tell Sarah where I was going. I said I had to drive to a client meeting for work. I felt terrible lying to her, but I could not explain. Not yet. Not until I fixed this. I got in my car at 6 a.m. on a Saturday and drove. The whole way my mind raced. What would I say? How would Marcus react? Would he even talk to me? I found the garage a little after 8 a.m. It was a small rundown place with 3 bays and a gravel parking lot. I sat in my car across the street for 20 minutes watching. Then I saw him. Marcus. Walking out of one of the bays, wiping his hands on a rag. He was thinner than I remembered. His hair was streaked with gray, even though he was only 37. He looked tired, worn down, but he was still Marcus. I sat there for another 20 minutes trying to find courage. Finally, I got out of the car. My legs felt like jelly. I walked across the street and into the garage. The smell of oil and gasoline hit me. Marcus was under the hood of a pickup truck, tools spread around him. I said his name. Marcus. He looked up. It took him a few seconds to recognize me. When he did, his face hardened. He put down his wrench and stood up straight. What do you want? His voice was cold, flat. I could barely get the words out. I need to talk to you about what happened 17 years ago. Marcus wiped his hands on his coveralls. That you want to talk about how you lied and destroyed my entire life. What is there to say, Dennis? I pulled the letter out of my jacket pocket. My hand was shaking so badly I almost dropped it. Read this. Kyle Morrison wrote it before he died. He confessed. He took the money. Not you. And I lied. I know I lied. I have always known. Marcus took the letter. He read it slowly, his jaw clenched tighter with every line. When he finished, he threw it on the ground. I know I was innocent. I have known that for 17 years. Do you have any idea what you took from me? His voice got louder. The other mechanics in the garage stopped working and looked over. Marcus did not care. I could not go to college. I worked garbage jobs my whole life. I got married at 23 to a woman I barely knew because I was lonely and broken. We divorced 2 years later because we had no money, and I was a mess. I do not have kids. I live alone in a 1-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. My parents died thinking their son was a thief. Do you understand that Dennis, my mom, died 5 years ago, and the last thing she said to me was that she wished I had made better choices. She died believing I stole that money. My dad had a heart attack 3 years ago. At his funeral, people whispered about me, about what I did. They are both gone, and I never got to clear my name with them. Tears were streaming down Marcus's face. Down mine, too. I did not try to wipe them away. I know I cannot give you back those 17 years. I know sorry is not enough. But I am here now. I am going to go to the police. I am going to make a new statement. I am going to do everything I can to get your record cleared. And I am going to face whatever consequences come from that. Marcus stared at me for a long time. Why now? Why after all these years? Because Kyle wrote that letter. Because I cannot live with this anymore. Because you deserve the truth. Because I have been a coward my whole life and I am done being that person. Marcus shook his head. You cannot fix this. You cannot give me back my 20s, my 30s. You cannot bring my parents back. You cannot undo what you did. I know. My voice cracked. But I have to try. I got down on my knees right there in the middle of the garage. Oil-stained concrete, cigarette butts in the corners, two mechanics staring at us like we were crazy. I did not care. I am begging you, Marcus. Let me try to make this right. Even if you never forgive me. Even if you hate me forever. Let me do this. Marcus looked down at me. His face was a mixture of anger, pain, and something else I could not quite read. Finally, he said, "Get up. You look pathetic." I stood. He picked up the letter from the ground, folded it carefully, and put it in his pocket. Do what you have to do, but do not expect us to be friends again. That is never going to happen. I understand. And do not do this to make yourself feel better. If you are going to clear my name, do it because it is the right thing to do. Not because you need to ease your guilt. Okay. Marcus turned back to the truck he was working on. You can go now. I walked back to my car. I sat there for another 10 minutes watching him work. Then I drove home. That night I told Sarah everything, the whole story. She was horrified, angry. She asked me how I could keep this secret from her for all these years. I did not have a good answer. She slept in the guest room that night. The next Monday, I hired a lawyer. A good one. We went to the police station in my hometown with Kyle's letter. I gave a new statement. I admitted that I lied 17 years ago because I was scared. That I never actually saw Marcus take anything. That my testimony was false. The detective who took my statement was young, probably was not even on the force back then. He listened, took notes, said they would investigate. Kyle had died 2 weeks after mailing that letter. There was no one to prosecute. But Marcus's case could be reviewed. It took 3 months of legal procedures, paperwork, court appearances. I paid for all of Marcus's legal fees. It was the least I could do. Finally, in January, a judge agreed to expunge Marcus's record completely. The conviction was erased. Legally, it never happened. I wrote a letter to the University of Michigan explaining the situation. I included copies of Kyle's confession, the court documents, clearing Marcus everything. I asked them to consider reinstating Marcus's original acceptance and scholarship offer. They wrote back saying that while they appreciated the information, they could not change decisions made 17 years ago. But they would be happy to consider Marcus for their adult learner program if he was interested in completing his degree. I also gave Marcus $50,000. It was most of my family's savings. Sarah was not happy about it, but she understood. It was not enough. It would never be enough. But it was something. The first few months after Marcus's record was cleared, I did not hear from him. I did not expect to. I had done what I needed to do legally, but I knew the emotional damage could not be fixed with paperwork and money. Sarah and I went to counseling. She was hurt that I had kept such a huge secret from her for our entire relationship. It took time, but slowly she started to understand. She did not forgive me right away, but she was willing to work on our marriage. My job was a different story. Word got out about what I had done. Someone from my hometown posted about it on social media. It spread. My company called me in for a meeting. They said that while they understood I was trying to make things right, the situation reflected poorly on the firm. They let me go. Just like that. 12 years with the company gone. I spent 2 months looking for work. It was humbling. I had to take a job at a smaller firm for $60,000 a year, a $30,000 pay cut. We had to sell Sarah's car and buy a used one, cancel our vacation plans, pull Jacob out of travel baseball because we could not afford it anymore. But honestly, I felt lighter than I had in years. The secret was out. I did not have to hide anymore. I could sleep at night. Marcus used the $50,000 to enroll in an advanced automotive technology program at a technical college. It was a 1-year certification program. He graduated at the top of his class. 6 months later, he opened his own garage. He called it Marcus's Auto Works. It was small, just 2 bays, but it was his. He built a good reputation fast. People liked him, trusted him. His business grew. I heard through mutual connections that Marcus had started dating someone, a woman named Diana who taught 3rd grade at the elementary school in his town. They had met at a coffee shop. She did not know about his past. He told her eventually, and she did not care. She saw who he was now. A year after everything happened, I got a text message from Marcus. It was short. Opening a new location next month. You can come to the ribbon cutting if you want. Bring your family. I stared at that message for an hour. I did not know what it meant. Was he forgiving me or just being polite? Sarah convinced me to go. We drove out there on a Saturday morning. The new garage was beautiful. 3 times the size of the old one. 6 bays. A waiting room with leather chairs and a coffee machine. A big sign out front with Marcus's name on it. There were maybe 50 people there. Friends, customers, local business owners, and Diana standing next to Marcus with her arm around his waist. Marcus saw me and walked over. He shook my hand. It was formal, stiff, but it was something. Thanks for coming. Congratulations. This place is incredible. It is a long way from changing oil in Eddie's backlot. He smiled a little. It was the first time I had seen him smile in 17 years. He introduced me to Diana. She was warm, kind, genuine. She shook Sarah's hand and complimented Emma's dress. She had no idea who I was or what I had done. Marcus had not told her. I was grateful for that. After the ceremony, Marcus and I stood outside while Sarah and Diana talked. It was awkward at first. Neither of us knew what to say. Finally, Marcus spoke. I am not going to lie and say everything is okay between us. It is not. I do not know if it ever will be. I understand. But I am learning to let go. Diana helped me see that holding on to anger was only hurting me. Not you, me. He looked at the garage, at all the people celebrating with him. I have a good life now, a business I am proud of, a woman I love, and my name is clear. That matters. You deserved all of this 17 years ago. Maybe, but I have it now, and I am not going to waste time being bitter about what I lost. I spent too many years doing that already. We stood there in silence for a few minutes. Then Marcus said, You did the right thing. Coming forward, facing what you did. A lot of people would not have done that. I should have done it 17 years ago. Yeah, you should have. He looked at me. But you did not. And we cannot change that. All we can do is try to be better from here on out. I nodded. My throat was too tight to speak. Marcus extended his hand again. I do not think we will ever be friends like we were. Too much has happened. But maybe someday we can be okay. I shook his hand. I would like that. Sarah and I drove home that afternoon. Emma fell asleep in the back seat. Jacob played games on his tablet. Sarah reached over and squeezed my hand. I am proud of you, she said quietly, for doing the right thing, even though it was hard. That night after the kids were in bed, I sat on our back porch and thought about everything. Marcus was right. I could not give him back 17 years. I could not undo the pain I caused him and his family. His parents died never knowing the truth. That would haunt me forever. But Marcus was building a new life. And so was I. A life based on honesty instead of lies. It was not perfect. It was not easy. But it was real. I learned something through all of this. A lie, even one born from fear, can destroy multiple lives. It does not just hurt the person you lie about. It hurts everyone around them. And it poisons you from the inside out. I spent 17 years successful on paper but hollow inside. I had money, a career, a family, but I could not enjoy any of it because of what I had done. But I also learned that the truth, even when it comes late, has power. The power to free people, to give them back their names, their dignity, their futures. Marcus will never get back the college experience he should have had. He will never get to tell his parents he was innocent. But he has his life back now, and he is making the most of it. As for me, I am not the perfect husband and father I pretended to be for so many years. My kids know what I did. Sarah made sure of that. She said they needed to understand that their father made a terrible mistake and had to face the consequences. Jacob asked me once why I lied about Uncle Marcus. I did not know Marcus, and I were not really uncles to each other, but Jacob had heard us called that. I told him the truth. I was scared. I was selfish. I chose myself over my friend, and it was the worst decision I ever made. But you tried to fix it, right? Jacob asked. Yes, but fixing it did not erase the damage. So what do you do when you cannot fix something? I thought about that question for a long time. You live with it. You accept that you hurt someone and you cannot undo it. And you spend the rest of your life trying to be better. Not to erase what you did, but to honor the person you hurt by becoming someone worthy of their forgiveness, even if they never give it to you. Jacob nodded like he understood. Maybe he did. Maybe he did not. But I hope someday, when he is older and facing his own hard choices, he remembers this story. He remembers that courage is not the absence of fear. It is doing the right thing even when you are terrified of the consequences. Marcus and I are not friends. I do not know if we ever will be again. But twice a year on his birthday and on the anniversary of the day his record was cleared, I send him a card. I do not write much, just thinking of you. I hope you are well. He has never responded, but I keep sending them anyway. Not because I expect anything back, but because I need him to know that I have not forgotten, that I will never forget. Diana and Marcus got engaged last spring. I heard about it through mutual friends. They are planning a small wedding next fall. I was not invited. I did not expect to be. But I sent them a gift anyway. A set of tools for the garage. Expensive ones. Professional grade. Marcus sent a short thank you note. It said, "Thanks for the tools. They will be useful." That was it. But it was enough. I think about those 17 years a lot. About what Marcus lost. About what I lost too in a different way. I lost my integrity, my peace, my best friend. I got some of those things back, but not all of them. And that is okay. Some things are not meant to be recovered. They are meant to teach us, to change us, to make us understand the weight of our choices. If you are watching this, and you have ever lied to protect yourself at someone else's expense, I want you to know something. That lie will eat at you. Maybe not today, maybe not this year, but eventually it will hollow you out from the inside. And when the truth finally comes out, and it always does, the damage will be so much worse than if you had just been honest from the beginning. I cannot give Marcus back 17 years. I will carry that guilt for the rest of my life. But maybe Marcus was right. Maybe the point is not to erase the past. Maybe the point is to learn from it, to let it make you better instead of bitter, to find a way forward even when you cannot go back. Have you ever made a choice you regretted for years, something that changed someone else's life? Drop a comment below and share your story. It helps to know we are not alone in our mistakes. If this story made you think, give it a like. Subscribe for more real stories about real struggles and the courage it takes to face them. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who might be carrying their own secret and needs to know that the truth, even when it is painful, is always better than a lie. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that it is never too late to do the right thing, even if it costs you everything. Even if the person you hurt never forgives you, you do it because it is right. And maybe, just maybe, that is enough. Take care of yourselves. Be honest with the people you love. And never let fear turn you into someone you will spend the rest of your life trying to forgive.